It is, yes.
It's Chris.
Oh, Miss Browall, how are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Just give me 1 second. I've just got a brush in my hand. Yes. Yeah, I can talk now. Yeah, thank you for calling me back. I mean, I've been trying to get in touch with you for some time.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Well, the reason I was contacting you was that we last had an appointment booked for Thursday, the 7th of April. And
Yeah, I did say I'd call you, didn't I? Sorry about that.
yeah, and then we got a surprise visit on the door on the 6th. With a letter through the post saying, "Oh, we've come to visit Taliban stuff," and I just wanted to gain clarity on this. On why is it the fact that when I've arranged an appointment with yourself to speak to you, that your team sent people to our house on an unannounced visit?
Because I spoke to you that week and I asked if we could visit because we needed to check Talib's welfare. So I was advised if you wouldn't agree to us to visit the house, that we needed to at least try to visit the house and then leave you a letter just to see if we'd be able to see Talib.
But we know. I mean, look, this is highly. It does this not come across as slightly harassmentary, because we had arranged an appointment for Thursday. I was expecting to call to you, and we were looking to make arrangements. All right, depending on the circumstances, and it just seems very devious that somebody just comes on the door. But was it yourself that came to the door?
No, it was, yeah.
So you came down on.
Colleague.
Yeah, so you and your colleague came down on the 6th, rather than agreeing to speak to me on the telephone on the 7th.
So I think I asked you on the Monday if we could visit, and you said that we couldn't visit. So I then sought advice, and was advised that we still needed to complete a welfare visit just to see if you'd answer the door.
So, wait on a minute. I mean, can you understand how absolutely ridiculous that sounds? Because when we spoke on Monday, you had asked for this, and I said all things are possible, and there were some questions that you needed to ask your managers regarding how can a visit take place, or how can communication take place given the policy of sending things by email and stuff. And so therefore we were expecting a visit. Our next appointment was on the 7th, and we had arranged a time, I think at 2 o'clock or something. And then for you to come a day earlier without telephoning is like a surprise ambush visit. And we talked about this last time, like when you came to Oldham without telephoning on a surprise ambush visit. I mean, what are we? We're human beings at the end of the day. We're not here to be ambushed by you. All right, and clearly, the matter's in court. So it just seems, it seems very, very. Suspicious or malevolent on your part, not you personally, but if your managers. Because, obviously Nadia Khan, Wasina Brown don't want to talk to me. They're fronting you to then come down. And this quite clearly seems like harassment.
Well, it's not intended in that way. I'd already planned that visit, and I was hoping that you would agree to a visit, but then when I said that you wouldn't agree to a welfare visit, I think we thought that we'd best still try and conduct the welfare visit to see if we'd be able to see Talib.
So do you understand what no means?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so so that is the definition. And I didn't say no, actually. I said it was still a possibility. We were discussing maybe you can do it through Skype and stuff. But if my brother's saying no, all right, and you're saying we still want to see you, that is quite clearly the definition of harassment. Because on previous visits, my brother, when my brother was last seen by your colleagues, Fungai Machichitiri and Baljit Koshi, he told him to go fuck off. All right. So it seems that do you want to be verbally abused? Is that the reason that you're doing this to antagonize us? My brother, I've explained to you, does not want to see you. He gets distressed, and I have to deal with that distress after you go. And so therefore, why would you look to deliberately come and distress him?
That's fine. I mean, is it possible that you'd be able to register Talib with a GP? So if he could be seen by a GP, that then...
What is your... I have concerns regarding your welfare, because what's happening is that you want the GP to somebody to visit him to escalate a concern. So therefore, that gives
No,
you.
that's not.
No. That is
That's not
that.
the case. That's really not the case. It's not.
No.
It's just
You know what? We don't
things
trust
like
you.
some services.
No, but we don't trust you though. You understand? Look at the way you're acting and behaving. Look what's happened to our mother. She's died under your care and custody. All right, under malevolent circumstances. Now, with regards to obviously, the first thing I wanted to ask was regarding why you had missed the appointment on the 7th. You've explained to me that disregarding the appointment on the 7th, which we agreed upon, your manager said just go down and harass him anyway and try your luck on the door.
No. You know, we'd already arranged to visit on the Wednesday. I spoke to you because I think it would have been good to ask if we could visit, and we did. And I didn't say we were going to visit on the Wednesday. You said that you didn't want to visit, and then you asked for a phone call on the Thursday. But I don't think we talked about that it would be okay to visit. But it was just because of the concerns we needed
What concern?
to make a welfare visit.
What concern?
That's all.
What concern?
Well, because you said that Talib was still quite upset about the passing away of your mum.
Yeah, and so what are you gonna do? So what were you gonna do? You see, this is what I'm saying. You need to have a concern in order to justify your authority in order to take control of the situation. So what?
Not at all.
No. Come on, Chris. What concern do you have? All right. We've got concerns that Talib's not getting access to his money. We've got concerns the fact that you're not recognizing that he has mental capacity. We've got concerns that you're not disclosing his records to us. All right. So we've got major concerns regarding your failures as an organization, as a local authority, and your failures as a health authority. So we've got grave concerns. We can't escalate those concerns to anybody. But you've got concerns that his mum's died and he's grieving. And what are you going to do? Tell me, what bereavement program do you have in place?
So I'm allocated as Talib's care coordinator, and as such, I've got a duty of care.
Just hold on.
Difficult.
No, you know what it is? No, just hold on a minute. This is just quite clearly fraudulent, because quite clearly that we've just told you that he's been discharged from the city mental health team, all right? The fact that you and the local authority are colluding and conspiring, and the fact that previously I've now got records, I've got disclosure of his medical records where you've been basically defaming my character, saying I'm preventing things. Quite clearly, what do you want? Look, if you want to come down and see Talib and Talib to tell you to fuck off to your face, if that's what you want, then you can make that arrangement, all right? But that's just stupid. Alright, that's just stupid. Yeah, because he's saying, look, you're harassing him. I have to tell him everything, and he says he doesn't want your services, he doesn't want your support. Alright, the problems we're having are that he's got no access to his own money. That matters in court. Alright, what I've asked you to do previously is that concerns you should have is that he was going to be evicted from his house, made homeless. Alright, I've asked you to write a letter stating that you support his application to be remain at primary way. You're not willing to do that. You're telling me to put things into writing via email to the designated email account which was set up for in my mother's case. So you're clearly acting with malevolence and subterfuge, and then he's saying we're not. Because quite clearly, if you were acting openly and transparently, you wouldn't have an issue, all right, with speaking to me or what with Talib saying, why don't you respect the fact that he's got mental capacity? And the fact that you're now concerned that he's not registered with the GP in Bradford. How do you know he's not registered with the GP in Bradford?
Maybe he is registered with the GP, and if you say that he is, that's good, that.
No, but how do you know? And what concerned me is this, that you... as a member of Bradford Council, were telling me that he's got diabetes. How do you know that?
No, I don't. Yeah, I've read back on his notes, and like you say, I think he was queried for diabetes.
No, but you know what you know what concerns me is this, yeah, that you, the local authority, seem to have a back channel to the GP records. And that is a very serious matter, right? That I'm having serious concerns about. Because under what legal authority do you have a right to go into my brother's medical records under the guise of, safeguarding? We've got concerns. So
No, that's not.
No, that is correct.
I think we share certain records.
Why? Why do you share records? Yeah, under whose authority?
No, it's not because he's just on the note.
No, just Mr. Chris, under whose authority do you have a right to share the records?
So I think there is information that is just on the notes that is shared just as a matter of course, not especially for tallies.
No, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. That's unlawful. All right. So you've just basically told me that you've just basically admitted to me that you're doing something unlawful.
No,
you can't.
No,
yeah. No. You can't just say, "Oh, computer system." There's some technical term, this and the other. Legally speaking, what right do you have to gain access to my brother's medical records? And none. That's the answer. And
I don't have access to your brother's medical records.
And number one, and number two is
health computer system.
No.
Includes information.
Just hold on a second. Unless we agree for disclosure to take place, and we haven't done so, then how is disclosure taking place between inter parties? There's something called the Data Protection Act. All right.
That's how the computer system works. There is information that's shared between GPs and mental health services. Not without our permission. I think permission would have been agreed at the
No.
time when you first.
We've never given. So let me explain something to you, Chris. Yeah, you know the computer systems that you're mentioning is System 1, isn't it? All right. And I used to work for. I previously used to work for a healthcare system called EMIS. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this. All right. In Bradford, they don't use EMIS. They use System 1. All right. So I'm fully aware of information interoperability. But what concerns me is that these are very serious issues that I have really serious concerns about regarding my brother's data and the fact that information is being shared. So I make it as a point to never agree to data sharing on behalf of my brother, all right, and neither does my brother. And the fact that information is being shared consistently seems to make a whole complete mockery of the Data Protection Act. These are serious concerns and failures as an organization you're having, because what you want to do is you just want to have access to people's information and monitor people, like you said. You admitted to us that, oh, we're monitoring the situation. What you're monitoring is that you're waiting for a crisis to occur where you can come and take control of the situation, and ultimately that's not going to happen.
I hope that a crisis doesn't occur, but I've still got a duty of care.
Just
hope that a crisis doesn't occur.
No, you say that. You see, this is that Orwellian double talk where you say, I hope it doesn't happen, but really deeply, you want a crisis to happen because that will give you authority and control.
If the crisis were to happen and I haven't tried to monitor and try to get in touch with Talib, then I could be seen to not fulfilling my duty of care.
Let me explain.
Just the duty of care.
It's not. You know what it is? Where does that duty of care come from?
Because I work for CMHT.
No, but legally speaking.
I'm employed as a care coordinator.
Yeah, those are just titles, aren't they? You're just employee. You're working. That's just a title. The duty of care comes in law, doesn't it? It's a legal duty of care. And the legal duty of care involves the local authority has a legal duty of care. Not you. You are an employee doing a job. All right? And the bottom line is it's a legal duty of care that the local authority have that have abandoned my brother. And they're now trying to make the argument that I'm preventing access to him, which is a ludicrous argument to make, because why am I ringing you up every day? All right? I'm trying to resolve a situation. Yeah. My brother is here with me. He's fine. All right? The problem we're having is your involvement and the fact that he's not getting access to his money. All right? The issue regarding his housing is a concern, which all seems to be neglected. All you want to do is pump him up with medication, ensure the fact that he's under your control and dominance. Now, it concerns me greatly because these are exactly the circumstances under which our mother has died, where you, the local authority, said, we've got concerns regarding my mum. Well, where's my mum now? She's dead, isn't she? And she died. Did she die of natural causes? No, she didn't die of natural causes. She died in the care and custody of the local authority. Now, one of the problems I'm having, Chris, is this. They're just fronting you and you're just like a parrot speaking whatever they tell you to say, oh, we've got concern safeguarding. What do you think? What's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to come here with the police, try to break down the door. You're going to see Talib's okay. You're going to distress us and further break down the relationship. Yeah? That's all that's going to happen, because you're not going to take him anywhere. You can't take him anywhere because he has capacity and he doesn't want to go anywhere. So you know what do you want to do? You want to force him into Linfield Mount Hospital again? What is the situation? What is the crack? Be open and honest with us, because the bottom line is this. Go on.
If there was a way for Talib to see a GP or something like that, and for the GP to say that he's fine and things like that, that's fine. But I'm not trying to escalate anything. Should I?
You know what is Chris?
That's why I only phone every 2 or 3 weeks, just to check in to make sure that you're both okay.
No, well, you know what is obviously, why didn't you check up on the guy that killed himself, committed suicide? All right, and it was in newspapers. Why didn't you not check up on him? Yeah, all right. So he's been seen by.
Is there anything else about Talib you'd like to talk
No, just hold on a second. What about the fact that on the 28th of February he was so distressed that you were going to come and take him that he ended up in hospital? And you got how did you manage to get a report from the hospital in Oldham? All right. So you already admitted to me the fact that that information's been disclosed to you. What concerns me is how's that information been disclosed to you? I take my brother concerns I have, all right, to a hospital in Oldham, all right. How does that information then travel from Oldham Hospital, all right, to his GP in Oldham to you in Bradford Council?
I couldn't answer that question. I don't know. But information sharing.
Yeah, and we've never agreed. We've never agreed to information sharing because that has to be it has to be opted in. We've never opted in to have information sharing. I make it a clear point not to have information shared. And you've explained to me last time that, and so he has been seen by a professional, hasn't he? He was seen on the 28th of February. So he was seen by a doctor on the 28th of February, wasn't he?
So yes, you said that, yeah.
No, you've told me that, you've confirmed that as well, yeah. So you know the fact that there was no concerns raised by the doctor in hospital, all right?
You asked if I was aware that it went to hospital, and I said yes. I think I was aware.
Yeah, and how did you become aware of that? If I didn't tell you.
Like I said, I'd read it in the notes.
And how did it come onto the notes?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Okay.
It was just in the notes.
Okay.
It was in the notes.
Okay, all right.
It wasn't me kind of prying or anything.
No, I understand. But yeah, it was in the notes, and so therefore, those notes. Who does those notes belong to?
I'm not 100% sure.
Well, let me explain to you. Those notes belong to my brother. Under the Data Protection Act, he has a right to access them. When I've tried to access them and made a subject access request on his behalf with his authority and consent, the health trust, have said that under the Calcott Guardian is refusing disclosure. So what you want to do is you want to have notes, secretive notes that we can't have access to.
The thing is, Sally, I mean, Shazad, you're asking me to phone you, and you're recording phone calls.
Yes, I am.
You send this recording in an email to around lots of people.
Yes.
And then in a week or two, you ask me to call you again.
Yes.
So you can kind of tell. Try and say things that I'm doing wrong.
No, sir. No.
Expect me to phone you.
Chris.
To kind of, so you record the phone call and then send it round as an email.
No, Chris.
You understand that this isn't centred on Talib's welfare.
Just to hold on a second.
We don't talk about how Talib's doing, should I?
Just hold on a second.
And that's why I'm calling.
No, sorry. Wait on a minute. You're saying incorrect statements there, or false statements, and misleading statements, okay? First of all, you've been fully aware from day one, before you took on this case, that and the Care Trust have been aware that I record calls. Secondly, I have not taken the call recording and spread it around everywhere by email. I sent it to specific senior management people regarding what's been happening and to confirm the facts. All right, so it's not hearsay. It's not like, I don't know where that information came from. So obviously, I didn't send it to anybody else other than senior management at the trust, because the people that you're supposed to be working for. Yes. So that's hello.
Hello.
Yeah, sorry. So that is right. I did not send it to anybody else. Thirdly, I have been contacting you. You've not contacted me. And then fourthly, with regards to your specific duty of care with regards to Talib's welfare, I've been explaining to you that my brother Talib has suffered a bereavement. All right. We are coping well. There is no issue of concern. What concerns us is the fact that you want to do a welfare check when you get the police involved. And then that distresses my brother out further. And it causes him unnecessary alarm and distress. It causes me unnecessary alarm and distress. And it's pointless exercise. Because, all right, yes, you've got the power to get the police to kick in our doors and threaten and intimidate us. I get that. You've got that power and you can abuse that power. But it doesn't resolve anything. Because my brother has ultimately, the problem we have here is that if you're interested in Talib's welfare and you want my cooperation, I'm willing to cooperate with you. But you see, then you're putting in stone walls and saying, we're not going to disclose his records to you. You know, we want you to not to speak to on the telephone. We want you to send emails. And then you're also holding on the money. And you're doing all this, taking court action and then making false statements about me at the same time. So you're not being, conducive in what you're supposed to be doing, like helping Talib. And in order to help Talib, you need to cooperate with us, not put in stone walls saying I need to email.
I'd be happy to cooperate, Shazad.
Yeah.
I'm happy to cooperate.
Okay, all right. Well, if you are happy to cooperate, then that's fair enough, and that's the basis why I'm calling you, is because obviously we still require you. You can understand his housing is an issue. All right. The matter has now been delayed, but obviously you can write a simple recommendation letter to Manningham Housing saying that we the local authority have a duty of care to this person. He requires housing, and we are supportive of any tenancy application. Why is that so difficult? All right. And why is it so difficult, Chris, for you to simply recognize that, formally speaking, we recognize that your brother has mental capacity?
So, can I ask something? And see, this is a difficulty because, I try to try and communicate, but it's difficult because when I do ask anything, it usually causes more trouble. But could I ask, is there a property at Thornbury Avenue that you could live at? Is it Thornbury Avenue?
All right, so obviously this does cause problems. What do you mean? How do you know the property of Thornbury Avenue?
So I've just been advised from our, I think it was the finance department or something like that. I was just wondering is that an option?
No, that is not an option. All right, number one. And why is there a necessity to kick us out of this house? Why?
So that's Manningham Housing.
No, it's not Manningham. No, it's not. I'm sorry, Chris. With all due respect, Manningham Housing, it's a business, isn't it? As long as they get paid, what do they care? Yeah?
What was that, sorry?
I said Manningham Housing is a business. As long as they're getting paid, all right, what do they care? All right? They don't care as long as they're getting paid. I've spoken to Manningham Housing in the past. Specifically with regarding the issue of over or under occupancy. They said, look, at the end of the day, we don't have a concern. All right? There's no policy in place that forces us out of the house. All right? Manningham Housing don't have an issue. It is you, the council, that have an issue. You want to kick us out.
It isn't the council. That's Manningham Housing.
No. No, listen to me, Chris. Listen, of course it's everything to do with the council. Manningham Housing would not have acted in the way that they do. They're following your instructions. You are ultimately looking to target and victimize me and then saying that, we can go to live at Thornbury Avenue. We can't. That's not a fit and habitable place. Number one. And number two is that if we move out of this house, I've spent over $5,000 on putting a stair lift in. What's going to happen about that? All right? So, you can make a recommendation. And the whole point was that my brother was living at 10 Thornbury Avenue and the local authority said it was not appropriately adapted. So, fair enough. If you want us to move out into 10 Thornbury Avenue, give us £40,000 to properly adapt it and so he's got proper facilities. This is just bullshit, all right? The fact that you're saying, politely, well, you can go to 10 Thornbury Avenue. Why would you even say that? Because that's clearly been discussed at meetings. And therefore, you the council, have made the decision unilaterally that, this is the way we want to proceed. We want to kick you out of this house so we can put other people in here that are more favourable to us.
To do with the council. That is Manningham Housing.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, I'm sorry, Chris, because there is a difference between rhetoric and reality. You're right, this is a Manningham Housing house, but you control Manningham Housing. The local authority give them instructions because under no who's given the keys to Shida, all right? And the place has been robbed. So who's done that? Talib's bedroom has been robbed. All his items were in his bedroom. That's all been stolen. Who's going to pay for that? Who's given the keys? Yeah, no. So you see, Chris, you're only given limited information. Basically, what they've done is that they give you limited information to give you enough information to give me instructions. Do you move out of this house? Go live on 10th Thornbury Avenue, yeah? And we're not going to give you any money. We're going to come over, just bullying and intimidating tactics. That's all it is. The bottom line is this: why are you refusing, as a local authority and as a health authority, to recognize the fact that my brother has mental capacity? That the fact that I spent over £500 getting an independent mental capacity assessment carried out, all right, in August, the very month that his psychiatrist Rashmi Dixon discharged him from the city mental health team. So he said, we cannot move forward, we can have no cooperation until the first step is established. Does my brother have mental capacity or not? Once you agree that he has mental capacity and that's not under dispute anymore, then we can move forward. All this other stuff about, we want to do a welfare check, or we're concerned about this is all just bullshit. This is the reality is that if my brother has mental capacity, then he has authorized me. If you're so keen to look through his notes, then you will look through his notes of March 2014, when Nadia Khan and Dr. Shaukat Ali and his previous social worker Deepak Patel, all right, were at not Deepak, I think it was Deepak Patel or Sanjeev Singh, when my brother was in hospital from the 14th of February 2014 until sometime in March, when I had told everybody that if Talib returns into my care, I'm going to take a kitchen knife and slit his throat. All right, I had said that to everybody. I said, I'm going to kill him if he comes back into my care. And then Nadia Khan, along with Deepak Patel and Shaukat Ali, deemed him having mental capacity, because he said, I'm going to go back into his care. And then Mark Truin, all right, the senior person from Bradford Council, came and dropped Talib off into my care. All right. Where was he concerned then when I'm telling everybody I'm going to take a kitchen knife and slit his throat if he comes into my care? You force him to come into my care. All right. You did that. So read through his notes. Nadia Khan is fully aware that my brother had mental capacity in 2014 because she signed off on it. And then after she signed off on it, my brother has then signed a lasting power of attorney, which we've registered with Manningham Housing Association. So there should be no question regarding his mental capacity then or even now. And the bottom line is this, Chris, is that what's in the background, the elephant in the room, which everybody seems to be like sidestepping over, is how did you get a criminal conviction against me? All right? And how did you take all this money away from us? And how is it the fact that you're now controlling his finances? That is the elephant in the room. How could you possibly get a criminal conviction against me and send me to prison lawfully if my brother has mental capacity and he's authorized me with the money? And you can't. And so that's what everybody is now like frantic about and fronting you. Where's Baljit Nota gone? All right? Why is she no longer involved? So this is the reality, Chris, is that they give you limited information, all right? And then they say that, then they force me to be obstructive to you. So you can write in your notes, Mr. Hussain was being obstructive, abusive, blah, blah, blah. Write whatever you want. I don't get to see that information. You spread that information around, defaming my character, all right? And but the reality is that you are failing as a health authority and a local authority because you're failing to recognize that my brother has mental capacity. Can we not come to an agreement first of all, cooperate with me and come to an agreement and understanding and tell me that you agree that my brother has mental capacity right here, right now?
I personally can't agree that without seeing Talib.
No. See, what do you mean? I've presented you with his mental capacity assessment report. All right, so you're not going to come down and carry out a mental capacity assessment. I've presented you with a mental capacity report. It was carried out by Nelu Services. They specialize in mental capacity assessments. You don't specialize. Do you specialize in mental capacity assessments?
I complete mental capacity assessments.
Yeah, you complete them. All right, as an employee of the council.
And
Yeah.
CMHT.
Yeah, see, you're subcontracted to the NHS, aren't you? But you're employed by Bradford Council. So Bradford Council employees are carrying out mental health assessments, and then don't you think there's a conflict of interest? And then you're saying that the person lacks mental capacity, and then we can take charge of his finances. Don't you think that's a conflict of interest?
So if a person is found to lack capacity, then a best interest meeting would take place.
Yeah, and then you the council.
The best decision
Yes, and then you decide that you're going to take control of his money.
No, that is as I say, that's not part of my role.
That's not part of your role, but you're part of a council that has that role in it. So you're part of a council that basically has found a way in order to, and your employers could force you to and say, look, we want you to, there are good people and bad people out there. You accept that. Some people can make a malevolent report, all right? You can make a malevolent report saying my brother lacks mental capacity, and then you get to keep his house, you keep all his money, you can take him into care, you can deny me access to meeting him. That's what's happened in my mother's case, all right? So it's a very conflicted position, isn't it? A Bradford Council employee, because you're not a health worker, are you? You're a social worker.
Yes, I'm a social worker.
That's correct. So a social worker at Bradford Council can make a mental capacity assessment report, malevolently state that somebody lacks mental capacity, all right, and then take control of his finances and make decisions, best interest decisions on his life.
So that shouldn't happen.
I know it shouldn't happen.
I wouldn't complete.
I know you wouldn't. I'm not. There's no question regarding your integrity. But do you accept that there are other people within your social workers that may lack integrity?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that you're aware of, but I'm aware of many people that lack integrity. My own siblings being one of them. So it is possible for you to carry out a mental capacity assessment as a Bradford social worker, and then for Bradford Council to take control of the finances. All right, and take over so you're financially incentivized, to make profit and gain, where your own financial interests override my brother Talib's interests. Look, ultimately, let's not digress here. We're not giving you an opportunity to carry out a mental capacity assessment. That matter is now closed. He's had a mental capacity assessment carried out by an independent person. Are you looking to challenge that mental capacity assessment report?
No, I can't comment on that. It's not really up to me what the validity of that.
Yeah, well, if you want to, the matter's still in court. The matter's still in court. Challenge in court. In the absence of it being challenged, then you must accept that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's all going through the courts, which is not really up to anything to do with me. Like I say, I'm only.
No, it's all to do with you. Oh, come on.
Every now and then.
Oh, Chris, come on. Who do why are you undermining my intelligence, man? You understand? What you're saying has got nothing to do with you. Baljit Nota, who's your counterpart, was arranging a visit with the GP practice in Oldham at Sun Valley for Dr. Todd to carry out a mental capacity assessment report.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we should support the courts, but regards to the decisions and things like that.
Well, I know that's not really your job, because the local authority buys the judges off. So they just buy everybody off. They use public money to buy everybody off.
We're kind of going round in circles. As you mentioned about the money, one thing I have been asked is if we could reinstate some kind of agreement where we provide the money, Talib's money in cash.
Just hold on a second. No, just hold on a second. Or let's discuss this. Now, the money was given in cash to who? Was it given to Talib?
Whatever would be the best agreement.
No. Just hold on.
Talib or given to you?
So it was given to me, wasn't it? It was given to me in the past. Talib has always refused the money. All right. So Talib has always refused the money. It was being given to me in cash. As a compromise, I agreed to accept the money. All right. Yeah. When you, the local authority, booted us out of the house, all right, and sent us and made us homeless effectively, I have refused to accept the money. All right. So It's not Talib's decision. Talib's made the decision. Talib has stated, I don't want the money. If you're talking about your notes, he's quite clearly and articulated this on a private visit between Fungai Mchichitiri and Baljit Nota when I was not there on a surprise visit. They came to see Talib. I was not there. Talib told them to fuck off, said, give my money to Shahzad. I don't want the money. So is that not on the notes?
So,
no, is that on the notes?
You know, ultimately it's Talib's money, and we need to try and make sure that
look, Chris.
Everything we can to
Chris, I asked you a simple question, and now you're being like very political about this. Fungai Mchichitiri and Baljit Nota came down to see Talib when we were in Oldham. So that would have been after February. I believe it was in March or April. They came down to give Talib money. Yes? Talib opened the door. I was not at home. He told them, give the money to Shahzad. I don't want it, and told them to fuck off.
Okay, but every now and then we need to ask just to make sure.
Because
we don't know what if you've got any, you know.
Just hold on, Chris. Chris, that's not the question I'm asking you. Chris, the question I'm asking you is this. You mentioned the notes. Do you have a reference to those notes?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
All right, so we're talking about the money now, aren't we? So my brother has made it quite clear he does not want the money to give it to me. Yes? I have made it quite clear that I don't want the money from you. Because this is Talib's money. This is Talib's money.
Could I yeah.
This is just hold on. This is
what I was asking for is because would it be okay for me to send a letter just offering to get an arrangement to provide the money, drop off
because it's not. It's why have you got his money? That's the question. All right. Under what legal authority you're basically, you know, like this. I'm going to be open with you, Chris. If we accept the money, then we accept the fact that you have a legal authority to have the money, and we don't accept that. You have unlawfully got his money. This is theft. All right. We're not going to deal the money that you. So, for example, the money that you're giving us in cash, that's stolen goods. All right. I'm not dealing with stolen goods. This is theft. You have no legal authority to have access to this money. Let me explain something to you now. Since we're talking about the money, my brother had signed over his DWP appointee power to me. All right. So I had DWP appointee power. Nobody can remove that DWP appointee power from me without my permission. All right. This is how the law works. Right. So when I got convicted and sent to prison, right, Adalat, the local authority instructed the DWP to give the appointeeship to Adalat unlawfully. It was taken off me. All right. Then the local authority have worked with Adalat to make him the deputy. Obviously, he's no longer on the scene or whatever. And now the local authority have unlawfully got the deputyship. The reality is this, that any money that's been taken from Talib following my removal as his DWP appointee in 2017 is theft, is unlawful money. All right. So don't tell us that you want to give us money. We cannot, in all conscience, take the money, because it would then mean validating the fact that you have a legal power to have that money. All right. And you don't. So the very fact that you've been accumulating money for over years now, this is all the same crime that you sent me to prison for. Talib has made it quite clear he does not want the money. It's on your records, it's on your notes. Talib has we've then established that Talib has mental capacity, all right, which you're now looking to sidestep and overshadow. Now, both the local authority, the health trust, and also the city mental health team are fully aware that regarding his care, which is why you're here, Mr. Browall, he's presently receiving £1 million worth of care every week from me. All right, that's what this is about. Now you can laugh and snigger at that all you want, but you know that you have that on record. That is his discharge plan. He's been discharged into my care under the provisions that I'm providing him with £1 million worth of care. Now, if somebody's receiving £1 million of care a week, why would you have any concerns? And why would I not cooperate with you? I am more than happy to cooperate with you, but you then need to recognize that's the reality of the situation. All right? Now, coming back to you're saying that you're going to offer us money. We don't, you can take that money and stick it up your ass, because not you personally, Chris, but the council, because this is, you're stealing money. This is theft. This is what the council sent me to prison for. Once again, I reiterate, my brother has mental capacity. With that mental capacity that Nadia Khan and Sanjeev Singh and Deepak Patel and Dr. Shaukat Ali recognized in 2014, all right, he's never lost mental capacity. The mental capacity report by Barry Fitzgerald is a fraudulent instrument made by Adalat, which you've fully contested. You have no evidence, all right, of my brother lacking mental capacity. So with regards to before we move forward and talk about the money, the housing, the very first thing we need to do is establish mental capacity. Now, can you please kindly, if you're not willing to tell me regarding the report I've submitted to you, my brother was in your care and custody at the City Mental Health Team from the 3rd of August 2018 until the 14th of December 2018. So he was in your care and custody between those months, August, September, October, November and December. Please, can you confirm to me that within that time period, did it ever get established that my brother lacks mental capacity?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, do you work for the City Mental Health Team?
Yeah.
Do you have access to his notes?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you have access to his notes from 3rd of August 2018 to 14th of December 2018. Please, can you provide me with some evidence that he lacks mental capacity, or was it ever established that he lacks mental capacity during that time period?
I think it not a matter for the courts at that stage.
No, it was not. No, it was. He was in your care and custody. He was in your care and custody, all right? Like I said, in 2014, Nadia Khan, Sanjeev Singh, Shaukat Ali, Deepak Patel established that the Talib has mental capacity to be discharged into my care when I had threatened to kill him, all right? So you, the local authority, and everybody else and the hospital deemed him fit and having mental capacity in order to be discharged into my care, all right? That was in March 2014, all right? In August 2018, all right, you had him in your care and custody, all right? There was, Dr. Reshmi Dixon, there was Dr. Sami involved, Dr. Nasser in his care. Did not anybody carry out a mental capacity assessment?
Well, I believe so.
They would have done, wouldn't they? Yeah, so you should present me with the mental capacity assessment that says that he lacks mental capacity during that time period. Because that's what concerns me. That's one of the reasons that I've asked for disclosure. Because let's put that in the courtroom. There's an issue regarding capacity. Why don't you say, look, between that time period when he was with the City Mental Health Team, we established, you could have carried out the mental capacity assessment. So could have Nadia. So could have Sanjeev Singh. So could have Baljit Notar. Why did nobody carry out a mental capacity assessment that states that he lacks capacity?
Did the courts not complete it?
I explained to you, Chris, that there were no court proceedings in place in 2018. All right. In 2019, my brother signed a lasting power of attorney to me. All right. It's only in 2021 that the court proceedings started. So I think, if you want, Chris, I'm going to make you a promise here. I'm going to fully cooperate with you, whatever you say. All right. But you have to cooperate with me also. And before we can move forward, we need to have the issue of his mental capacity addressed. All right? That is the foundational principle. Does this person have you managed to establish that he lacks mental capacity? That's it. That's all I want to do. If you've established that he lacks mental capacity, please present me with that evidence before we discuss about money, about anything else, about his welfare, about his visits, or anything like that. He was in your care and custody. You've been on the phone for some time now, and I'm grateful for this. And I hope, we're making progress on this. please come look through his notes while he was in your care and custody at Linfield Mount Hospital under the care of Fungai Muchichitiri, Baljit Nota, Dr. Sami, Dr. Dixon. Surely a mental capacity assessment would have been carried out. And I tell you why. Because in November 2018, the city mental health team, were encouraging him to be housed into a care home. All right? So if he lacked mental capacity, you could have done a best interest and said that we're going to put him into a care home. But quite clearly, a mental capacity assessment report was carried out, and it was deemed that the person has mental capacity to make the decision regarding where he wants to live. It must have been. Because obviously my brothers showed me the care home that you were trying to place him into. All right? So he's told me, because look, they wanted to place me into this care home. I said, no, I want to go live with Adalat in the worst case scenario. And so therefore, you understand, Chris, that when you like you said, you've carried out many mental capacity assessment reports. When somebody is and he was under section, then don't forget, when he was taken from here on the 3rd of August, he was under a section 2. The section 2 expired at the end of the section 2 expired at the end of August. You're right. Then court proceedings did commence, but those court proceedings were nothing to do with his mental capacity. The local authority wanted to remove me as his nearest relative. All right.
I think with the concern at that stage, with the concerns about safeguarding.
Yeah. Because there were lies made by Vicina Brown regarding I was doing so on X, Y, and Z. Yeah, so there were court proceedings which then were discontinued. The local authority dropped them, but irrespective. So they dropped those court proceedings in November, and then subsequently my brother was discharged to my care in December. All right, but irrespective whether there were court proceedings or not, there would have been a mental capacity assessment carried out. No. If there were court proceedings, like you said, there was no court proceedings in the court of protection, because that deals with mental capacity and such forth. But there were court proceedings underway to remove me as nearest relatives regarding safeguarding and whatever artificial concerns were raised then. So surely there would have been a mental capacity assessment carried out, no?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So as his care coordinator and as somebody, obviously, like I said, I'm looking to fully cooperate with you, and we can discuss the money and everything else. Can we not first of all establish the fact that does this person have mental capacity or not?
It's not something that I know enough about, to be honest.
No, come on, Chris. You're being disingenuous.
So, like I said, my main role.
You're just being disingenuous now. No, you're being disingenuous. No, you're not getting it. No, I'm not asking you to get involved in the court proceedings. What I'm asking you to do is trying to establish, does my brother lack mental capacity? The evidence upon you, I've presented you with evidence. I've presented you with a report done by an independent party, which is Nelly Support Services, all right, privately commissioned by us, all right, so we've had to pay for that, all right, and it's been done by an independent party that specializes in mental capacity assessment reports, and that was done in August when Dr. Rashmi Dixon has discharged him from the city mental health team. Now, if you can say to me that you have any evidence to the contrary that he lacks mental capacity, and we've had this conversation before, haven't we, Chris? What is the first principle of the Mental Capacity Act?
We said before, it's presumed capacity.
That's it. So why would you then not presume capacity? Because the law...
I think it's something that you need to take up with the court.
No, Chris. No, Chris. We're not talking about the courts now. Obviously, the matters still in court. You're still trying to do X, Y, and Z. Yeah, but the bottom line is the presumption of capacity. You have chosen to negate that by saying, no, we're going to assume that he lacks capacity. I've then gone and said, well, taking that into consideration, I'm going to pay privately to have him assessed by an independent party that has assessed him and paid over £500 for an assessment report. So that's in front of you. So on the one hand, the law of which you state that you have a duty of care to under, or which you're acting and speaking to me on behalf of, because you have a duty of care, which is a legal thing. The law quite clearly states there's a presumption of capacity, which everybody's refusing to accept, all right, and assuming that my brother lacks capacity. And then I've presented a report stating that he does have capacity, and everybody's like, no, we don't want to talk about that. How can we not talk about that? If my brother has mental capacity, which he does, and he has stated he doesn't want the money to give it to me, and I state that, where does that leave your criminal conviction? You see, this is the real problem, Chris, and this is hence why we're having this conversation today, is that we cannot go forward. You cannot provide us with the service as a Bradford Council, because you work for Bradford Council, because Bradford Council cannot accept that my brother has mental capacity, because if they do so, where does that leave their criminal conviction of over £680,000 then?
So I think, as I said before, whether Talib had or did not have capacity at that stage, my understanding is that, like I said, direct payments are direct payments, and they can't, it's not necessarily that money can be spent anywhere that Talib chooses or that you would choose. It's meant to be paid for,
Chris,
care, and there's a
Chris,
process for that.
All right. So,
as far as my understanding is,
yeah,
that doesn't depend on mental capacity.
Yeah, okay, Chris. All right. Thank you for that clarification. The reality is this: the local authority were paying me the direct payments covertly. They were doing something criminal, all right? Because I asked for a contract. I said, you're putting me in charge, all right, for Talib's money, and you know that I'm going to be doing all this stuff. Give me a legal contract. They didn't do so. Then for 5 years, they were paying direct payment money, and they didn't audit it. That is a fault on the local authority's part, all right? Which
that's completely beyond.
I know, but just listen. I'm not asking you to comment on. I'm just giving you background information on what the reality is, because you're now saying that you mentioned direct payments. I did not mention direct payments. All right, you brought direct payments into the conversation because that's got relating to the criminal conviction. Now, the criminal conviction was artificially created. All right, and so therefore, the money that was being spent. Did I spend the money? I didn't spend the money. All right. Because I knew it was fraudulent.
It's past 5 o'clock now.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I called you back because you've been calling a lot, and obviously I like to be able to check in every 2 or 3 weeks just to make sure things are okay.
No. This is not acceptable. This is not correct. Look, let's arrange for another appointment. We need to move forward. All right. In order to move forward, I need you to go through his notes to find out when it got established that he lacks mental capacity. Can we do that?
I can go to my manager and ask about that.
Who's your manager?
Vicina.
So yeah, go speak to Vicina, go speak to Nadia Khan, and when could we arrange to speak next?
I can't say when. I can try and see. When I say I'll call you in 2 weeks' time. But
No, Chris, no.
The thing is, I'm getting drawn into conversations that are not really part of my role as care coordinator.
I know, Chris, but whose fault is that?
Talib when I call.
Yeah, but whose fault is that?
The reason I call is to make sure that Talib's okay.
No, but whose fault is that? It's not my fault, is it? We're getting drawn into this conversation because of the fact that Vicina Brown and Nadia Khan have done something wrong. All right, and they're covering their own backs, and they're refusing to accept that my brother has mental capacity. Look, by monitoring Talib, by proxy, you're monitoring me. All right, and that's what the real situation is here. You've put you think I'm Putin or something. You're putting economic sanctions on us and expecting a crisis to happen. Let me go back to Vicina Brown and Nadia Khan and tell them there is never going to be a crisis. All right, I won't permit a crisis to happen. My brother's not going to be in a crisis for you to take advantage of. So you can wait another 10 years and I can survive this. All right. This is one of the reasons I charge £1 million. It's not just, it's not just pulled out of my hat. Because of the economic crisis that you're looking to create, I'm preventing that, and that's why I charge so much money. Because you could act, the local authority and the city mental health team can act and do their duty of care and recognize that my brother has capacity. Because nobody is looking to accept that, and nobody is presenting me with evidence that, look, if you were to come back to me and say, look, we believe that your brother lacks mental capacity because by the time we had him in our care from August to December, we established that he lacks mental capacity, all right? Then obviously that is something that we can go forward on. You can't do that. Subsequently, I presented you with a capacity assessment report, right? You fraudulently wanted to get Dr. Todd, all right, who's a very malevolent individual, to sign off. Now, you're saying that you have integrity and you don't know anybody who lacks integrity. Well, let me tell you, there's one individual who does lack integrity, and that's Dr. Todd, who has prostituted out his services for money and gain. He'll write whatever you want him to write. So this is what he's done in my mum's case, and that's why everybody was so insistent on getting Dr. Todd to do a capacity assessment on Talim, because it was already a foregone conclusion that he was going to conclude that he lacks capacity, and therefore everybody was going to say, no, now we've got evidence. Well, little did everybody know that I had already thought of that and got him independently assessed. Now everybody's bamboozled and they don't know what to do, because Dr. Todd was commissioned to do a mental capacity assessment report to conclude that my brother Talib lacks capacity, to justify all the actions that you've done. So you can't do that now, all right? And now you're like, oh, we're going to monitor the situation until a crisis arises. No, you understand? The reality is this. I would like to speak to you, what day is it today? Wednesday. I would like to speak to you by Monday next week, all right? That'll give you ample time to go through his notes, speak to him about Senior Brown, and present me with evidence to establish that he lacks mental capacity during the time that he was with you. Because I've made that request from the city. As you know, I've made a data disclosure request, and that's not been forthcoming. All right. I'm now going to have to go to the courts and ask them to make full disclosure of what that pivotal time when you had him in your care and custody, when you could have established that he lacks mental capacity. You didn't do that. And I know you didn't do that, because when I spoke to Rashmi Dixon on his multidisciplinary discharge meeting in January, I asked her to carry out a mental capacity assessment report.
All I can say is that I've asked you about registering Talib with the GP, and I've asked about, is it possible to set up arrangement regarding Talib having access to the car?
And my answer to that is yes. And my answer to that is yes. As soon as you recognize that he has mental capacity or establish that he lacks mental capacity, we can move forward. We can't deal with his money or the GP or anything else or his welfare until this issue is resolved with. Does that make my position?
That's fine. But what I might do, I will kind of draft the letter, and it's not to escalate anything. It's just as part of my duty of care to show that if you get him registered with the GP.
No, you know what is you know why we don't want that letter, all right? Because the reason is that you're trying to put this in the courtroom. All right, you're trying to just make this matters in court, okay? And you're just trying to make further evidence, because obviously any impartial judge, and this Judge Beckley is not impartial, he's been bought off, yeah. But quite clearly, you're just trying to justify that you've done everything in you've done what you need to do. All right, the reality is that none of that can happen unless you first of all accept and recognize and respect that my brother has mental capacity. All right, so we don't want your letters. All right, we can't move forward until you personally, Chris, go through his records from when he was with the city mental health team between August and December 2018, and establish, did it ever get established that he lacks mental capacity? And if it didn't get established that he lacks mental capacity, the letter I want from you to start with is that we, as the trust and the local authority, recognize that your brother has mental capacity. All right, according to the report that I've presented you with. That's the letter I want from you. And the letter I want from you is we, the local authority and the city mental health team, support any application with the Manningham Housing Association to remain where you presently are. Those are the things I want from you. All right. What you want to give me is what's in the interest of the local authority. It's a malevolent agenda. So can you please, first of all, before sending me any letters, can we not establish the very pertinent issue of his mental capacity, considering the law states that it's an assumption that you should make. And in addition to this, I've sent you a mental capacity report, and the fact that you have no evidence or nothing from anybody else to establish that he lacks capacity. How can we move forward unless the capacity assessment issue has been addressed?
Okay, so I'm going to have to get off the phone now. I've made a note of what you said, Shazad.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Like I said, I was only phoning up to because you understand things as harassment and things like that. If you do get a letter about
I'll be treating.
The GP.
Okay.
Like I said, it's just part of my
No.
duty.
You know what is? If you send me that letter after I have said no, and you understand, and you told me earlier on you understand what the word no means, that is classed as a harassment. All right. I'm classing that. If you send me, I've told you, don't send me this letter. The only letter, the first letter I want to see from either you, the council, or the city mental health team is that you accept and recognize that my brother has mental capacity. Any other letter regarding offering appointments or, letters regarding I should register with the GP or money arrangements, that will be used as evidence of harassment.
Shazad, can you understand that, like, when we turn up at the house, I've asked if we could go to the house and you said, No,
I didn't say that.
Concerned about his welfare.
No, I didn't say that. No, I did not say that.
And you say that it's
No, Chris. The reality is.
You if we can send a letter, and you say no, and if I send a letter, it's harassment. But
yes.
If I had sent the letter without asking you,
it would have still been harassment.
Then that would have been.
It would have.
I'm trying to explain just the reason why I'd need to send that letter.
No, and I'm trying to explain to you. Send me the letter. That's classed as harassment. The fact that you came down on the 6th of April when we had an appointment on the 7th of April, that's evidence of harassment. Okay, and obviously I'm quite happy for you to give me more evidence of harassment. All right, because this is quite clearly harassment. The first thing to avoid it being harassment.
I've phoned you because you've been phoning several times.
I have.
And I've called you back.
Thank you.
And then I'm trying to be polite and say, look, as part of my duty of care, could I send a letter? And he said, well, no, you can't because it's harassment.
Yes.
It's you that's calling me all the time, and then I'm trying to cooperate.
No, Chris.
And you understand it as harassment.
Chris.
Damned if I do, damned if I don't.
No, Chris. You're actually being very disingenuous here. The reason that you want to send me the letter is because you've been instructed to do so. It's not
only from a duty of care point of view.
Yeah, you've been instructed. You've been instructed to do something, and you want to follow those instructions. And the reason that you're damned is your employers, or the Vicina Brown and Nadia Khan, are telling you to do something. And when you're telling me you're going to do that,
it's not even that. But we don't know if you've got any money to make sure that Talib's okay. And if Talib isn't being offered access to his money, he could be without gas and electric. Talib might not have enough money for food and things like that.
And he could die. Yes. And so you're just covering your own back.
In that way, it's important that
you're just
at least offered access to his
money. It's not, Chris.
On a payment card or anything.
Okay, Chris, but it's not an offer. It's you're just covering your own back, because you know the fact that at some stage any impartial party can ask the question. Well, this person could have been starving to death, and you didn't even offer him the money. So the reason that you're making this offer is not genuine. It's disingenuous because you're just looking to cover your own back, because you're going to say, look, we made the offer, they declined. All right, so it's not a place from genuineness. We're declining your offers because you're refusing to accept the fact that he has mental capacity. That's why we're refusing. We're not refusing because we don't want the money. Eid's coming up. We need the money for Eid. We need to have all this. There are expenses that I'm incurring. All right. So the reality is that it's not your money to give us. First of all, it's Talib's money, and the DWP. It's Talib's money. It's not your money to offer us. All right, it's Talib's money. Talib has. If my brother Talib has mental capacity, then he has a right to have that access to his money directly, not for you. Not for you.
How can we provide Talib access to his money?
Okay, I'll tell you how you provide it. You take all that money and you give it back to the DWP, and then Talib will make arrangements with the DWP to collect it. Okay? Because because that way, how does anybody else collect the money from the Department of Work and Pensions? The only money that Talib will be collecting, and I will be assisting him to collect money, is from the Department of Work and Pensions. Because they're the people that the money is coming from. You have no right to the money because my brother does not lack mental capacity. You fraudulently got a court order becoming his deputy, and that's all this what's going on. You, the local authority, cannot have access to his money. The very fact that you do so is criminal. All right, and we will not be entertaining into a criminal enterprise. If you want to get Talib his money, give the money to the Department of Work and Pensions, and have a Department of Work and Pensions person to come down and speak to Talib, and Talib will accept the money. Is that okay?
Yeah, I can make note of that, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, because we will only be accepting the money from the Department of Work and Pensions without the council's involvement. The council has no legal duty of care. And obviously you don't know this, Chris, but I have now made a very, obviously presented evidence in court stating the fact that the order that the council has, the, deputyship order, all right, is a instrument of fraud. All right, they were never made the deputies, and so it's a fraudulent instrument, and so therefore the longer that it goes on, the longer that Talib is being deprived of his money, the more liability is being created to the local authority, because the local authority knows that the deputyship order from of the 2nd of January 2018 from Judge Hesford is an instrument of fraud. All right, and that instrument of fraud is preventing Talib getting his money. It's a very serious matter. Trust me, and the severity of the fact that a vulnerable person such as my brother Talib is not getting money. All right, I am not preventing him getting money. All right, you are, as a local authority. Give the money back to the DWP, and the DWP will deal with Talib. And the reason the DWP will deal with Talib is because Talib has mental capacity, and so start by recognizing that he has mental capacity and he can make his own decisions and choices in life. All right, give that money back to the Department of Work and Pensions, and he will have and I will ensure that he collects that money. Is that okay?
Yeah, I'll make a note of that. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so when can we speak next?
If we're speaking not next week, the week after next week. Is that okay? Because if we speak every week, I can't,
Okay, Chris, what is
we'll just have the same conversation
Chris.
over and over
Okay,
again.
Chris, what is, I'm going to agree with you. I mean, what is, you've been very gentlemanly, you've given me your time, you've been very courteous and respectful to me, and I don't want to be rude and disrespectful to you. Now, it's Eid next week. It's Eid next week, all right? So we're not going to, can we arrange for 10th of May?
Let's see where we are now. Just let me double check.
9th is Monday, 10th is Tuesday.
10th is Tuesday.
What's your availability?
You can say the 10th of May, but the thing is, Dad, is that I don't want to be going round in circles.
No, I don't as well.
There's a limit to how much I can say.
Look, Chris. I know, Chris. But we can't move forward. You can't do your job properly unless you can. Certain conditions are met. All right, I'm willing to cooperate with you, but cooperation is a two-way thing. Look, I've agreed with you. We're not going to speak next week. We'll speak the week after. I'm very cooperative because ultimately you know what the thing is? It's important for me to not come across as rude, abusive, obstructive, because I'm ultimately charging you £1 million a week. So I don't want to be coming at somebody saying, "Oh, well, you're charging £1 million a week, and you would have been verbally abusive to one of our employees." Like, Chris, I don't want to be verbally abusive or disrespectful to you. I'm a professional. I'm charging you money, so I'm being courteous and kind and respectful. All right, but it requires that on your part. Now, all I'm asking you when we speak on the 10th of May is we're going to be discussing the issue of his mental capacity and his money. Is that okay?
See, this is something that this needs to go to the OPG. You've got a solicitor, haven't you, or an OPG? This needs to go through the courts. I haven't got.
No, Chris. No, Chris.
Know how to be able to be commenting on this.
No, Chris. What I'm asking you is that when I speak to you on the 10th, you need to come back to me and say, look, but when he was in our care and custody, we established that he lacked mental capacity. So so I'm sorry, but if that's the case, if that's the situation, then we'll have to wait until the court of protection mark. Because
you'd be better off writing letters or something like that, or via your solicitor writing a letter.
I don't need a solicitor. I don't need a solicitor. I don't need a solicitor, because the problem I have with solicitors is that local authority buys them off. I'm quite capable and competent, and as you can see, I've made a mental capacity assessment report for my brother. I'm dealing with the case myself, so I don't want to deal with the solicitors. Number one, and number two is that, Chris, look, you're an intelligent person. How can we move forward when the issue of my brother's mental capacity is like not definitive? All right, because the things that you're saying, like, can we come and give you the money? You can't give us the money, and I'm not being obstructive, but you can't give us the money because if the person has mental capacity, then you shouldn't have his money. That's the bottom line. If my brother has mental capacity, you don't get his money. So the fact that you got his money and not made the answer of his definitive regarding his mental capacity, that is where the problem lies. You can't offer us things which you don't have a right to offer. You have no right to offer Talib money. It's not your money. The money that you could offer is the direct payment money, which you're not paying, which you're saving on. But you're now taking his DWP money as well. And he's not had any access to his unfettered access to his DWP money since I went to prison in 2016. So that's over 6 years ago. He's not had access.
Is there any way that that money that's accumulated, that Talib could be given access to that money from the DWP?
Yes, by the DWP. Yeah, the DWP. We're not, because you know what is, Chris? You know, when you're accumulating his DWP money, you're not giving it to him. You're committing a crime that you convicted me of. R versus Shahjad Hussain. Bradford Council versus Shahjad Hussain. That you convicted.
I think that's there's matters that's there with the courts that I cannot comment on.
Yes.
The fact is that Talib isn't getting his money now.
Yes.
He isn't getting the money that's accumulated from the DWP.
Yes.
Is there any way that he'd be able to be given that money?
Yes. Yes.
And I understand that there's the money that went to Adawa and things like that.
Yeah.
If Talib was able to get that money, would that improve the situation and to ensure that Talib had some money and
can you
had enough money to...
All right. Can you confirm that have you got the money from Adalat?
I don't know.
My understanding is that Adalat's not giving you the money. He's not handed over the money.
I don't know. I know that there is some issue over that. And again, I'm talking out of turn because I'm not a solicitor.
Yes.
I'm not a financial person.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find some
Chris.
kind of way forward.
No, Chris.
It's a waste of lots of people's time.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, Talib hasn't got access to his money. There's lots of agencies involved, lots of resources, and there's no moving forward.
That's correct.
Honestly, it'd be great if there was a way to move forward.
Okay, all right, Chris.
And Talib had access to his money, and it would save us.
Yes.
It would be better for us.
And I'm in agreement with you, because obviously every day that goes by that Talib doesn't have access to money, who's funding him? He's not starving to death. I'm funding him out, so it's costing me. I'm suffering the pain. Now, you're not speaking out of terms. I'm sorry, I don't agree that you're speaking out of terms. You're speaking very much in terms. This is very, very relevant. And now you've asked me, how can the DWP money that the local authority are accumulating, how can that be given to Talib? All right. The answer is very simple. Give that money back to the DWP, and we'll collect it from the DWP. Yeah, that's it. And in order to resolve this matter, you just need to accept and recognize the fact that my brother has mental capacity. And then, you'll have full cooperation on my part. I'll bring him down to visit you if you want. All right? Once you establish that he has mental capacity to make his own choices and decisions in life, all right, and you recognize that, and you give the money back to the DWP, I'll go out of my way for you to meet him. All right?
So, but the thing is, and again, this might be me talking out of turn. If he was assessed to have capacity, that would be a statement of him having capacity from this day forward. And if it was the DWP's money, that wouldn't be able to determine anything about historically whether he had capacity or not.
That's fair enough.
Wouldn't be able to.
That's fair enough, Chris.
That decision.
No, that's fair enough. If that's what you believe, that's fair enough, yeah. But the reality is that all right, that's fair enough. But from what am I asking you? I'm asking you to establish and deem that my brother has mental capacity, not from today, not from tomorrow, but from the 3rd of August 2021, when the mental capacity assessment report was carried out.
Which report? The one that you?
Yeah, from Nelly Support Services.
Right.
Yeah, from Nelly Support Services. And also, considering that you read Dr. Rashmi Dixon's notes, that my brother was discharged from the city mental health team in August 2021. So the point in time that I'm establishing that my brother has mental capacity is from August 2021 onwards.
Okay.
Right? And with regards to historically, that's up to me and everybody else, isn't it? That's got nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So as long as you accept that my brother has mental capacity, all right, we can move forward and resolve the situation. But if your guys are sticking to the guns, if you believe the fact that historically I can't get my conviction overturned, that's fair enough, or it doesn't affect me historically. But let's just move forward. Like I said, as long as you can put something in writing to me that the city mental health team accept that my brother has mental capacity moving forward, then I can assist my brother gain services that he's entitled to. You know, like you said, the loads of agencies, loads of support services that he's entitled to. He can't get any of that support until I am in a position to help him, and I'm not in a position to do so until it's established that he has mental capacity. Okay, Chris, you've given me more of your time. I'm very apologetic for taking so much of your time. I look forward to speaking to you on the 10th, and thank you for your time. If there's nothing else, we can bring our call to a close.
Yeah, that's fine, Shazad. Yeah, okay, I'll call you on the 10th. Like I said, I don't want to go around into...
And I don't want to as well.
...how much
okay.
I can comment on,
okay.
But I'll call you on the 10th.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you very much, Chris, and thank you for taking the time to call me today. I'm very appreciative. Thank you.
That's all right.
Thank you. Goodbye. Bye-bye.
See you now. Bye-bye.